Handloaders, bullet casters, welcome back to my bench. Oh boy, I have something new and pretty interesting for you today here. What we have in front of us is, well, we all know what this one is. This is a good old-fashioned M1911 and 45 ACP. We're familiar with its history. Many of us are familiar how to use it. And most of us watching this channel either have one or probably will have one. But what is the story behind this dagger? So this, my friends, is a representation of something called the Sicarii dagger. This is also something that would have been a concealed carry weapon of the day during the time of the ministry of Jesus Christ. I bring this up because a little known fact about the 12 disciples is that Simon the Zealot, who was a member of the 12 disciples, was also a member of a political party called the Zealots. And many of us can relate to these people because they were dedicated to overthrowing the big and overgrown corrupt government called Rome. They despised the fact that Rome had jurisdiction in the holy city. Many Jews, though, became complacent with Roman rule and even began to work alongside them. But the Zealots were adamantly against this, seeing Roman rule as an abomination to their God, their customs, and their culture. Rome represented all the things that a God-fearing son of Abraham should despise. The Zealots, however, were orchestrating guerrilla attacks on the Roman machine regularly and doing a lot of damage. See, the Zealots also had this sect called the Daggermen. Dagger. These men did the dirty work. But see, the thing is, they made no distinction between Roman and Jew. Okay? Now, if a Jew was suspected of, sympathizing along with Rome or supporting Rome, guess what? Things got ugly for that Jew real quick. But see, I bring this up because I believe that Simon the Zealot, Simon, who I like to call the Molon Labe disciple, was chosen by Jesus because of what Simon represented. He represented folks like you and myself. Simon represented the kind of man that would stand up and say, "Come and take it," at the top of his lungs. He was the kind of man who would stand up in the halls of Congress and shout, "Give me liberty or give me death." If Simon was around in today and in America, he would probably be in lockup right now in a federal pen for storming the nation's capital. In fact, he would be branded as a domestic terrorist. And so for many of us, a lot of us, we can relate to Simon through his zeal. Now, interestingly, when he was called by Jesus Christ to follow him, he found that being in the midst of the Son of the living God was far greater than any worldly event, than any government agenda. He even learned to make peace with his brother Matthew. Now, Matthew would have been a henchman for today's political left, supporting a socialist government. Now, Matthew was actually a despised Jewish tax collector who collected tax on behalf of Rome. Mixing the two of these together in any other circumstance would have been deadly. Now, I don't think it's a stretch or an exaggeration, but I am sure in any normal outside of Jesus' ministry circumstance, a fellow like Simon might have killed Matthew on sight or had it done by one of the daggermen. But in the presence of the Son of the living God, Simon learned to love Matthew like a brother. I believe that Matthew began to regret his greed And I believe that Matthew left that life behind him to follow Christ as well. And you know what? I believe Simon began to regret some of the deep-seated hatred that he had that began to define who he was, because now he's in the presence of the Christ, and Jesus Christ is the definition of who Simon wants to be, something far greater than any worldly event, than any corrupt government. So, brothers and sisters, what should all of this mean to us? Because, see, the thing is, if we are supposed to emulate Christ, well, that presents something that's seemingly impossible. We can't, duplicate his perfection. So, emulating him seems like a pretty insurmountable task. However, he knew this. That's why he gave us certain disciples. He gave us certain personalities. And I believe that we all here can most likely relate to the same disciple, the Molon Labe disciple, Simon the Zealot. And what we can learn with Simon the Zealot is what began to define his life was his love for Christ. We don't want our anger to turn into hate, because hate turns into something completely different. So let us think about how this Molon Labe disciple was able to take up his cross, was able to follow Christ and go out and preach love, to share the love of Christ. So brothers, sisters, like, subscribe. Thank you.